and welcome to the Ultimate Florida Sports Show. I am Evan Closky alongside my partner, Chris Porter, as always. And Chris, it is nice to see you again after I took last week off. How we living?
I'm good. The question is, how are you after some relaxation?
I needed it, but I'm back, refueled, ready to go.
So, baby, you're coming back, and we've got a great show. The Jaguars make a big trade. The Gators get off to a bumpy start on the basketball court, plus a goal from heaven in this week's Heart of the Game. But first, let's start off with a little blue 28, red 25. Said, hot. The Bucs returning from the bye week.
Thank you so much, Chris. The Buccaneers didn't make a trade this week because presumably they expect all their injured star players to come back at some point in the second half of the season. One of those guys is Luke Gators, who had his practice window open up this week. He has been missing from the offensive line since week 2 and sorely missed at that. Last year, the Buccaneers ranked 4th in rushing yards per game. This year, the team is currently 24th. The amount of different offensive line combinations for the Buccaneers this season cannot be understated. Cody Malk is done for the season. Gators and Wirfs have not played a game together yet. It has been a trying year for the Big and Uglies up front.
It can be hard, when you have the injuries that we've had and the rotations that we've had and guys coming in and out and you just got to stick together. You got to keep your heads down, and that's the beauty of football, right? Is you lean on your teammates and the guys in the locker room. Keep working. We'll keep improving, and we're ready to come out of this bye and try to put together some good performances.
When the Bucs won the Super Bowl in 2020, they had to replace a starting guard in the playoffs. As long as the core 4 can remain healthy moving forward, I expect to see improvements on that front.
As much as I want to stop calling you Dr. Closky, I just cannot because there's always something on the injury front. Meanwhile, as for a team coming off the bye, did Todd Bowles have a message for his players?
Yeah, not injury related. According to Yaya Diaby, when the guys gathered back together on Monday, Bowles told the squad to look no further than what everyone saw in Detroit between the Lions and Vikings. Detroit dominated the Buccaneers, hit a bye week, came back, and got stunned on home field. So the defense has to pick up where it left off, and the offense hopefully did some self-scouting because that unit only has 2 touchdowns to its name in the last 2 games.
We're not going to score 30, 40 points every week, and we're not going to shut people out every week. But as a team, 2 or 3 of our units, you try to get them all to play well at the same time, and that will help you in the second half of the season. That's what we're trying to do.
The Buccaneers have quite the test on Sunday from Raymond James Stadium going up against a great Patriots squad. I have a strong prediction on that contest, which I'll give out in the Ultimate Stakes.
And it's definitely one of those contests that I'll have my eyes on this weekend. Here are the 904. The Jacksonville Jaguars play Let's Make a Deal with the Las Vegas Raiders, adding wideout Jacoby Myers. In exchange for Myers, the Big Cats sent a 4th and 6th round pick in next year's NFL draft. Jacoby, exactly what this offense needs, a sure-handed wideout who is one heck of a possession receiver. The trade is big for an offense that has lost Travis Hunter to IR and has the #1 receiver in Brian Thomas Jr., who's dealing with a banged-up ankle. And finally, it's a unit that has had it, and it's a unit that's had its fair share of drops. However, the Jags' top brass know Jacoby should solve that problem.
I appreciate it. I mean, even if knowing that, though, that's been an issue, seeing them guys work after practice, work during practice, how serious they take it. It's ball drills all over, so that's a testament to them, honestly. Like, they working on it. They getting better every day, and I respect that. So hopefully I can come in and do my part, and I don't add to the problem. I would say so. I mean, for anybody, honestly, it's going to be a little tough because it's new. Anything new is a little challenging, but I'm excited about it. Like, I'm excited to go through it, so I'm not concerned at all. I really just want to soak the whole experience in and just enjoy it and win games.
Trevor Lawrence says former Jag Mac Jones texted him to say he loves Jacoby. Mac and Jacoby played together for 3 years up in New England. Jacoby also has a great relationship with Jaguars receiving coach Edgar Bennett, which should help him adjust quickly to his new team.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to give Liam Cohen a new toy out there. Chris, let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. And Jags won't have to deal with C.J. Stroud this week.
They won't. C.J. Stroud ruled out of Sunday's game against the Jags. Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans made the announcement Wednesday. Stroud suffered a concussion in the first half of last Sunday's game against the Denver Broncos, and he's still in the concussion protocol. Ryan says he's doing better, but Davis Mills will get the start. Liam Cohen talked about prepping for a guy who has little regular season film.
I remember him coming out of Stanford. Like, he can spin the ball. I mean, he's a talent. He can throw the football. I've watched him in preseason games before where he's, started games and their offense, was rolling. And so, he gave Nico, I think on his second throw of the game, a fade on on the right sideline that was right here. So it's talented.
As you all know, divisional games are so important. The Jaguars really need this win in a big way. It won't be easy because the Texans have a good defense. And, just in the last 15, 16 games, they've had the Jags number.
Yeah, and you did mention those divisional games. They kind of count for two,
Yep.
like 1.5 at least. As for the Dolphins, the team has parted ways with general manager Chris Greer. Head coach Mike McDaniel is staying put for now. All deadline moves had to go through ownership directly, with the most notable move trading Jalen Phillips to the Eagles. And to be honest, I'm a bit surprised the team was as quiet as it was. At least the New York Jets picked a lane, sold off 2 stars, got a great haul for it. I'm not quite sure what Miami is doing, Chris. Seems like they have a lame duck coach, a lame duck quarterback, and an ugly duckling of a salary cap situation. What is going on here? I don't know what the near future is going to look like. The next GM of the Fins is going to have some sort of reclamation project to work through.
All I know is this, is that McDaniel should have been gone. Why he's staying to the end of the year, I do not know. I just feel like when you're having the type of season that they've had, get rid of the GM, get rid of the head coach. And if you got some valuable pieces, trade them away and get you some draft picks. College basketball now. Jump ball, get it. Gator Nation, relax. It's just one game. The 13th-ranked Arizona Wildcats put on an impressive and physical performance in defeating number 3 and the reigning national champion Florida Gators in their marquee season-opening Hall of Fame Series matchup Monday night. An Arizona run of 22-9 in the first half flipped a 12-point Gators lead and energized the crowd. From there, Florida was fighting from behind for nearly the rest of the game. Todd Golden said his team played great complimentary basketball early, but when Boogie Flan went out of the game or was not on the court, they had issues.
I thought when Boogie was out of the game, we were not as organized offensively. We started having some issues with the starts to our offense, and we were a little out of sync that way. But, like I said, we just played really well in all 3 facets early on. Arizona countered, kind of knocked us on our heels that way. Played awful defensively the last 10 minutes of the first half. Again, Arizona's really good.
Look, the Gators got some big shoes to fill. Walter Clayton Jr., Will Richard, Elijah Martin, they're all gone, and the trio was the centerpiece to last year's national championship game. Replacing that trio was a priority, number 1, for Golden as soon as last season ended in April in San Antonio. So like I said a few minutes ago, Gator Nation, one game, no need to panic.
You don't win titles in November. I think they'll be just fine. As for life on the football side of things, you're taking a look at what the 12-team college football playoff bracket would look like if the season ended today. Remember, it's a straight seeding model, so no more automatic bids as buys like Boise State had last year. Georgia would host Memphis in the first round. If USF can win out, that is where the Bulls would expect it to be slated. Also worth mentioning, Miami's at 18. While the releasing of the bracket is fun and all, it's merely a guesstimate with a month of football left. For example, Georgia has to play Texas and Georgia Tech still. In the end, Chris, I don't have many complaints about the first bracket released. 4 SEC teams, 3 Big Ten teams, 2 Big 12, 1 ACC. If I had to guess, schools like BYU, Virginia, and Memphis will not be there in the final picture.
I agree with you. The first college football playoff, I don't have any issues. What's being projected as of right now is early November. Like you said, a team like Georgia that still has some big games to play in the coming weeks. I'm sure this thing will look much different sooner than later. What about the pitch? Sporting Club Jacksonville announced the appointment of Liam Fox as the first head coach of its men's team, which will debut in the USL Championship League in March of 2026 at UNF's Hodges Stadium. Fox joined Sporting Jacks with distinguished coaching experience from the Scottish Premiership. Known for his player-focused leadership style and attacking approach, Fox has built a reputation for fostering young talent and empowering creativity on the pitch. Throughout his career, Fox has worked alongside and been mentored by several esteemed figures in Scottish soccer. Fox talked about the type of team he's looking to build here in the 904.
Ultimately, I want it to be an exciting team. I want to give the community and or the supporters things to be excited about, coming to watch our squad, our team, because ultimately that's the way that I see football. I want to see people that come and enjoy themselves and they look forward to coming to watch us and they can get behind us.
Fox's coaching philosophy emphasizes tactical intelligence, a strong work ethic, a vibrant team culture that aligns with Sporting Jacks' mission to develop an exciting and community-focused club.
As for the heart of the game, we show you how Florida Panthers forward Brad Marchand received help on a goal that some are calling divine intervention.
Plus, my heart is still racing from Game 7 of the World Series coming up in the Ultimate Rush. Why it's the best Game 7 I've seen in years.
Time now for the Ultimate Rush. This is where we dig into some topics affecting the Sunshine State and beyond.
The only catch, we have 60 seconds to make our point. I'm going to start us off with the World Series. Game 7 of the 2025 World Series. What a classic. It's been more than a week since the Los Angeles Dodgers repeated as world champions, but my heart is still racing after that dramatic Game 7. And no, I did not have a dog in the fight. The Dodgers and Toronto Blue Jays delivered one of the greatest deciding games in baseball history. The Blue Jays came within just inches of their first title in decades, but the Dodgers reminded everyone why they are the reigning champions. Down 4-3 in the ninth with 2 outs. The season on the line, Miguel Rojas, the unlikeliest of heroes, stepped up and delivered the swing of his life. A towering solo shot to left field, the first ever 9th inning home run in a World Series. Game 7 tied it up, and it silenced the crowd in Toronto. Will Smith hit the game-winning home run for the Dodgers in Game 7 of the 2025 World Series, a solo blast in the top of the 11th that gave the Dodgers a 5-4 lead over the Blue Jays, one that they would not relinquish. And I want to say this is really great. Don't have a dog in the fight, but for the folks out in California. Earlier, they were devastated by the wildfires, so for them to get a world championship and celebrate, as you saw there during that victory parade, absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, and I love how everybody talks about the payroll that they have for the Dodgers. You know, who hits the big home run? Miguel Rojas, right?
Yes.
So it takes a team.
Yes.
As for the Tampa Bay Lightning, the team had its 5-game winning streak snapped in Colorado, but still, the team is looking more and more like itself after that ugly start to the year. As we know in hockey, it gets late early, and the Bolts needed to get some pep in their step with how jumbled up the East is. With the return of Nick Paul on the horizon, I would imagine you're going to start seeing the Lightning creep higher and higher up the Eastern Conference standings. There are 2 concerning trends for this team, and I think both are fairly fixable. One is their success or lack thereof in the faceoff circle. Nick Paul was about 50% from the dot last season. He's going to help these guys out there. As for the other concerning trend, the power play looks terrible. And I know the team wasn't exactly the same without Steven Stamkos last year, but they were still 5th in the NHL at 25.9%. Before Thursday's game in Vegas, they were at 13.6%. At some point, the pendulum is going to swing in the other direction, and I would bet they're going to go on a heater here very soon, but they have to find the back of the net, get off the cooler, and then we'll start seeing them go on a run.
Did you see that, partner? That pendulum starting to swing. You like that?
Yeah, that's right.
I got the move.
It's all in the hips.
Yes, yes, yes. I got stiff hips, by the way. Time now for the heart of the game. This is where we go beyond the X's and O's to remind you why we fell in love with sports in the first place. Evan, we're sticking with your theme of hockey.
That's right. Florida Panthers forward Brad Marchand missed a game last week to help a friend whose daughter died of cancer last week. Marchand and 10-year-old Sela shared many memories during this past year's Stanley Cup run. So with his friend grieving the Panthers, the Panthers let Marchand go back to his hometown and help coach the team of his friend JP, the one that he leads. The game was used as a tribute and fundraiser. Marchand returned to the Panthers Saturday night, and less than 2 minutes into the game, he scored immediately. You see it right here, pointed to the sky. Gives me the goosebumps, Chris, because when you see something like that happen, you know that was just Sela saying thank you. And really just a lot of respect to the Panthers organization, being able to see the bigger picture here, let their star player go back home, handle the situation, help his friend out. And that's really what it's all about. And it really shows you how much he loves and cares for that family, wanting to take the time to go back, because it's difficult losing a loved one. And he could have, had several reasons why he said, I can't make it, sending my love, but to be there in person, to coach that team, that's love, my friend. That is love. Yeah. Yeah, it's really special. So really want to spotlight Marchand there. Well, coming up in less than 3 minutes, Chris and I share our best bets for the Bucs and Jaguars game in the Ultimate Stakes, along with who we think could be winning the Natty this season. Already?
Hey, Dad. I don't need you to be perfect. I don't need you to be a superhero. I know you don't have it all figured out. Y eso está bien, porque eres mi papá. And that's enough. And scientific study shows when my dad is involved, great things happen. When test scores go up, I'm less anxious. I just become the best version of me.
We're back for our Ultimate Stakes segment. This is where we talk or take a look at the odds via the Hard Rock betting app and give you our thoughts on teams or games. Evan, it all depends on the week.
Yeah, just a reminder, this is for entertainment purposes only. So let's start off with one of the best games of the week between the Bucs and Patriots. And I'll say this, I think it's a smash spot for the Buccaneers. First, let's talk about New England's schedule. They have played 9 games, and 2 of them are in the playoffs right now. They beat Buffalo and lost to Pittsburgh. How did they beat Buffalo on the road? They forced 3 turnovers. You know what the Bucs don't do? They don't turn the ball over. On top of that, this is an ugly spot for the Patriots. They have Thursday Night Football against the Jets coming up, and I know the Jets are not a good team, but between a non-conference foe and a divisional game, I'm going to guess the Patriots want to get ahead on the prep on short rest. Finally, the Buccaneers are coming off a bye week. The offense has been playing terrible, so plenty of motivation to come out firing. I'll keep it simple. Bucs win by at least 7 on Sunday.
All right, as we told you earlier in the show, the Jaguars on the road Sunday taking on their AFC South division rival, the Houston Texans. It's a Houston team the Jags, they've had their issues against, but a team the Big Cats beat at home early this year, 17-10. And here's why it's a big deal. It was the Big Cats' first win over the Texans at Everbank Stadium since 2017. Before that Week 3 victory, Houston had won 12 of the previous 14 in that AFC South series. I'm saying all of that to basically say that while I want to believe the Jags should be able to beat a Texas team minus C.J. Stroud, history just ain't on my side. Plus, this is a Houston team, as you know, Evan, is much better than its record.
Yeah.
As of this taping of the show, the Texans were 1.5 point favorites. However, guess what, Evan? I'm riding with Trevor Lawrence and the Jags.
Yeah, and I'll say that line has now flipped to the other side because of that C.J. Stroud being out, that injury. So now it's pretty much a pick 'em. But I do agree, the Texans are just an unbelievable defensive unit. That's going to be a great game. As for the College Football National Championship, as an Ohio State grad, I love OSU to repeat. But last I checked, their odds were at plus 220. So in terms of best value bets, I like Indiana at plus 500, Texas plus 3,000. Indiana's defense isn't talked about enough, and Texas is starting to turn it around, Chris.
I'm riding with the Georgia Bulldogs. Kirby Smart and his team have played a lot of game. My guy, Gunnar Stockton, he's been way better than I thought he would be. Clutch in big situations, puts the ball where it needs to be at the precise moments. So I'm taking the Dogs. It's just November, so don't bark at me. That's who I'm riding with. Cam Little rewriting the record books and breaking out of a funk with the longest field goal in NFL history. How his unwavering faith as the sophomore kicker back on track in my last word.
Time now for our last word. This is where we clear the paint and sound off on a topic that has caught our attention. Chris, you lead us off.
All right, what a turnaround for Jaguars kicker Cam Little, and what a moment for NFL history. The 22-year-old came up huge in Week 9, earning AFC Special Teams Player of the Week honors after drilling a record-setting 68-yard field goal as time expired in the first half against the Raiders. Little was perfect on the day, 3 for 3 on field goals, 3 for 3 on extra points, totaling 12 points. It's been a season of ups and downs for the second-year kicker who missed 4 kicks earlier this year after a red-hot start. But the second-year kicker never lost faith. Cam saying, quote, "Sometimes the Lord puts us through times to test our faith. I've just been trusting the process," end quote. Backed up fully by his head coach Liam Cohen and his teammates. Little's confidence and his leg, they have never been stronger.
Just waiting for that 70-yarder now.
Yes.
We saw it in the preseason. For my last word, considering we are putting the Ultimate Florida Sports Show on our streaming channels, you might have been affected by the YouTube TV and ESPN dispute. If you have YouTube TV, you missed out on college football Saturday, Monday Night Football. And look, business is business, and I get that. What I don't love is ESPN utilizing its talent to ask personalities to get in the middle of this war. What I don't love is having ESPN ask the SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey to send tweets on the subject. And here's the other thing. I'm not having a telethon for Google or Disney. You know what's going to happen at the end of this? The consumer is going to be forced to pick up a higher bill. This is all just, I think, nasty work. Give the people their sports back. Figure it out. Don't make everyone go through another weekend of this. It's just just not fun. It's not fun for anyone to deal with. And leave the talents out of it, please.
Absolutely. And we got a lot of calls from viewers here about the whole YouTube TV and all that kind of good stuff. Give the people what they want. You're making millions of dollars. They just want to see their favorite teams. Make it happen.
And they want to see you.
Yes, and you.
Thank you so much for joining us for the Ultimate Florida Sports Show. We'll be back here next week.